I used to think that I was a team player, but when I look back now, I realize that I wasn't. It wasn't because I felt like I needed to be a hero, but I think the motivation and the reasons that I wasn't a team player, even though I thought I was, goes much deeper than that. And it's a reflection of the way that I've been and the way that I've been feeling and the way that I think. And I'm in the process of trying to change that because I know that it's not the right thing to do. And moving forward, it is definitely not something I want to continue because, I just don't know what I was doing at the time. I kind of split this into two broad categories, and one is at work and one is outside of work. And even if you think about this, what is the definition of a team player? And a team player is somebody who is part of the team. Remember the old saying that there is no I in team. It's somebody who contributes and performs their role so that the entire team can perform at the best it possibly can. And no individual person is bigger than the rest of the team. We've all seen those movies where, there's a up-and-coming superstar, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, or whatever, and they come onto a new team and they think that they can do it all. They can run, they can kick, they can throw, they can hit, they do all this stuff. And what you find in that situation is that the rest of the team is just sitting there or standing there going, what's the point of me being here? This dude or this girl is actually doing or trying to do everything. There's actually no point of me being here. And as the movie progresses, you can tell that the team starts to go really badly. There's a lot of resentment for the supposed superstar because he or she has taken over everything. Ultimately, the team ends up losing. They go through this period where the team performs really badly because there's no team chemistry, nobody wants to be there. And at the end of the movie, that superstar finally realizes his or her particular role in the team. And once they get to that position where they have that awareness, the team starts to perform better. Everyone feels like they're there for a purpose, and the team ends up winning, and everyone goes home, and everything is happy ever after. This goes exactly the same way in life. And the more you think about it, the more you realize that you are the one person, you are not indispensable. You realize at some point that no matter what you're hearing and what the story is, and no matter what you've bought into, even when there are people at work saying that we're really glad you're back because when you were on leave, the place was crap, and we're really happy that you're here because things run so much smoothly, you've got to stop letting that become your mindset, because pretty soon you develop this attitude where you become, or you feel like you're indispensable, and in reality you're not. And the quicker you start realizing your role in the team, and the quicker you get out of this I am the hero thing, because it's all about being audacious. The audacity of someone who thinks that they can enter any sort of a team environment, whether it's work or whether it's family, and you think that you can do it all, you can run it all, and without you the whole thing falls apart. That is an audacious statement which almost always will come back and bite you in the ass, and there is very, very few exceptions to this rule. Take work, for example. My work involves working in a hospital. Imagine, for example, if the cardiac surgeon thinks he or she can do everything, i.e. operate on the patient, save their lives, but also at the same time do all the management, they do all the admissions, they take blood, they write up all the medications, they send the correspondence for the patients and let them know what they need to do before they come to hospital, they put their drips in, they start them on medications. You would never get any operations done, and the work of that cardiac surgeon would be so diluted that it would be actually a waste of time actually having he or she there, because they're not doing the job that they're trained to, but in their mindset they think that they're doing the right thing because they feel like they need to control everything. And I'll go into that more in a minute, but there is a hierarchy at work for a reason. The heart surgeon's there to perform surgery on the heart. You have residents who do the medications, the blood rounds, writing in the labs, charting medications, doing admissions and so forth. And further on, residents aren't going to get any of their work done if they spend their time administering the medications, taking the patients for a shower, and that's some of the things that nurses do. Nurses do that one-on-one personal care that residents do not have the skills to do, and two is that they do not have the time. And if the nurses correspondingly spend their day mopping the floor, delivering meals, organizing who's having what for dinner, their job gets diluted, and it's the job of the catering staff, the housekeeping who do that. So it is a team game. It is a team sport. Working in a hospital is a team sport where everyone is allocated their role, And as much as you think that you can do better than everybody else, the likelihood is you can't. And the desire to play almost like a hero role, that you are the all-rounder, everybody depends on you thing, actually jeopardizes the care of the patient, and it needs to stop. And similarly at home, like I've been guilty of this on numerous occasions. I need to let some of these things go. But I have to realize, and you have to realize as well, that your way is not always the best way. Like I said, there's no I in team. There are other people in the household who are more than capable of doing the type of stuff that you think you are the only one who can do. And in fact, there are always going to be members of the household who are actually better than doing some things that you're able to do. So instead of using your ego as the lead or as the yardstick or as the guide to what you should be doing, how about working out a way that you can delegate stuff, how you can organize things to work in a more team-spirited environment? You know, there are people in the house who are better and more efficient at cooking dinners. There are people in the house who are better at paying bills and organizing stuff and so forth. And shouldn't that person who is better at doing that be the one doing that rather than you having to do everything? And then what's worse, you get to the point where you resent everybody because you feel like nobody's doing anything. I'm doing everything around here in this house. But is it your fault? Is it because you have trained everybody in the house that no one else is capable of doing anything and that you are the only one and your way is the only way? See, if you have adult kids, if you have teenage kids for that matter, they are more than capable of putting dishes in the dishwasher. They are more than capable of taking out the trash. They are more than capable of folding their own laundry, ironing their own clothes, packing their lunch. You don't have to do everything. And once you start, there is a tendency for these people who you think aren't capable to actually kind of believe it and think that, well, Dad's going to do it better than me, so I might as well just not do it. Even though at the start they may want to do it, but you get to the point where every time they offer, you say no. And pretty soon they stop and you resent them because they don't do anything, and you get the shits because they're at home watching TV, playing video games while you're slaving over the stove, you're tidying all this stuff, you're doing all the vacuuming. But the truth is you haven't allowed them to do any of that stuff, and you've trained them to create a habit where it's okay for them to participate in the chores of the house because you don't feel like you're able to let go, and you don't trust those people around you to fulfill their roles, which, like, it is such a difficult thing if you're somebody who likes to be in control of everything, to relinquish control. I get it, because I feel that way a lot of the time. But if you're going to be the someone who is going to micromanage everything and tell everybody what they should do and what they shouldn't do, and then ultimately take away their responsibility because you're going to do it anyway. For example, you get somebody in your house, you get your 18-year-old to stack the dishwasher, and you're not happy with it anyway, and you end up going there and rearranging all the dishes and telling them, look, the plates belong here, you should have rinsed this first. How is this going to wash if the fork and the spoon are all tangled together? If you're going to do that, you might as well do it yourself. But ultimately, the person you're hurting is you, because you become so resentful that all your time is spent on doing chores and you don't get time to do anything for yourself. What difference does it make if the plates are in the wrong order ultimately? What, are you trying to look for the most aesthetic and the most beautifully arranged dishwasher? Are you going to post this on Instagram so that people can see it? I mean, ultimately, the bottom line is you stick the goddamn dishes in the dishwasher. As long as they're clean, that should be it. It doesn't matter how it's stacked. And if you're of that mindset where everything that's not right, not perfect, everything where there's a little hair out of place and you got to go and fix it, you're training a generation of children, and you're telling them that you don't trust anything they do. You're telling them that what they do isn't good enough, and you're always going to have to go there and double check everything. And what does that do to their level of confidence and self-esteem, if you think about it that way? At work, I've witnessed on numerous occasions how very senior doctors are reluctant to let their juniors do any of the procedures because they feel like they're not going to do it as good as you. But how are they supposed to learn? How are they supposed to get experience if all they do is stand there and watch you do it? Because one day, ultimately, they're going to be the ones who are in a position where they have to do it by themselves, whether you're not available, whether you've retired, whether you've gone on a conference, and they are in a position where they don't know how to do it because you've never allowed them the opportunity to try and do it. And the best time to teach somebody is to give them the benefit of your experience and your knowledge by standing there and guiding them through as they do it, not as you do it and say, this is how you do it. You've heard the expression, see one, do one, teach one. You have to allow somebody, once they've watched you to do it one time, to actually do it themselves so that they can, in the future, pass that knowledge on to others. Yes, initially, they may not do it as well as you. And yes, it potentially does reflect on your reputation, because if a patient expected a 9 out of 10 quality of work and they only get a 7 because it was done by a junior, that's the reality of the situation. As long as it's something that's done in a way that the patient remains safe, it is the natural transition of knowledge, because not everyone starts off being perfect. And if that is your reason why you're not going to let any of your juniors do any procedures, then they'll never be perfect, and all the abilities you have, all the skills you have is going to die with you, because you haven't allowed anyone else to learn and practice those skills when you're in a position where you could teach them how to improve on their ability. So ultimately, how do we change the way that we think? If you're that person that I've described on this video, that person who feels like you're the only one who can do this right, if you're the only person who gets it, and if you're reluctant to let somebody else try, because one, it could cause more hassles, it could take more time because it always takes longer to teach somebody how to do it than to do it yourself, how are you going to change that mindset so that your knowledge, your skills can be passed on to future generations, number one? And how do you let go so you can take some of that time back to do stuff for yourself, so that you're not resentful for everybody around you because you think that you have to do everything, when in reality, you know you don't have to. Now, the first couple of times, I can promise you it's not going to be easy. You're going to be looking over their shoulder, trying to resist the urge of telling them, this is not how you do it, you should do it this way. But ask yourself, how critical is it if they don't do it your way and they try to do it their way? Like, they may surprise you. They may actually come up with something that's better and more efficient and does a better job than you, but you haven't given them that the opportunity for that to come to fruition at all. How hard is it going to be to let go and actually trust your team, whether it's your family, your sporting team, your co-workers, to do stuff that you have always done because you thought that you're the only one who can do it better? It's really difficult, but ultimately it's something you have to do. It's something you have to address, because like I said in the start of this video, and let me remind you right now, you are not indispensable. You may think you are, and you may have bought into the whole, we really missed you at work when you're away, no one can do it as well as you, and you're actually making our job so much easier when you're here. And when you're not here, everything's crap, everything's difficult, and the patients suffer because they don't get the same standard of care. Don't buy into that stuff, because you're not indispensable. You may right now be the best person they have to do the role that you're assigned to, but that's not always going to be the case. One day there will be a person who comes along who is better skilled, who is a better fit, who has a better personality, for that matter, of doing that job. And then where does that leave you? If you have your whole self-esteem wrapped up in the fact that everybody else needs you and you're there and you're indispensable and they can't live without you, what happens when one day you realize that they can? What happens one day when you realize that your skills are slipping, you're getting a little bit older, your edge is just gone a little bit? You see that a lot in professional athletes, where they've been a superstar for the first 5 to 10 years of their career, and then they start to slow down. And the young up-and-comers start to beat you, and your stats go down, you make more errors, the crowd starts booing you instead of cheering you, and people start saying that you're old, you're past your use-by date, you're a has-been, and you need to quit. How is that going to make you feel if your self-esteem's wrapped up entirely around what you do rather than who you are? Have a good think about that, because I think that's super important. And if you're somebody who finds themselves frustrated, if you find yourselves resentful and angry sometimes, and you go to work or you're at home and you feel like you have to do everything, just remind yourself that you don't. Just keep reminding yourself every single day, let things go, let other people get involved, let other people help. It's not a shame to ask for help. It is not a shameful thing. It is not a sign of weakness to accept and acknowledge that somebody can do it faster, better, bigger than you, and they should be the ones who get the opportunity to do it, because for the benefit of the team, for the benefit of the family, and for your own personal benefit, saving time, doing things right the first time, and giving yourself a break and allowing other people, delegation, allowing other people to show their talents, to do the stuff that they were trained or paid to do, is a good thing, not a bad thing. Stop micromanaging everybody. Allow them to grow. Allow them to spread their wings. Allow everybody to do the job for which they were assigned, paid, or responsible for, and just relax. Just let yourself enjoy the extra 10 minutes you have every day, every half an hour you have at work every day, because you're not doing everybody else's job that you're not paid to do. Anyway, leave a comment below if you have any experiences that you would like to share regarding everything that I've spoken about today. It's really important that we all share our knowledge and share our experiences because it helps everybody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week in another brand new video. Have a great week. Bye.